I had an experience with the Klan. They came to my house when I was little. But my mother, this is a strong woman, my mother. She went right to the door and opened it and gave him candy. And my mother used to tell me this thing. I don't even know if you remember, but you said this to me more than once. You said, son, sometimes you have to be a lion so you can be the lamb you really are. It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes. Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch. That's your explanation. But racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years. Black America is worse than it has. There are protests and vigils and prayers going up for a despicable, deplorable, detestable, lonesome, white man, 21-year-old young black man, was found lynched in his university campus. Dave Chappelle is cutting deep again, calling out the wild hypocrisy behind America's reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Nobody is saying we should cheer a man's death, but the treatment Kirk got afterward was almost saint-like. His body flown on Air Force Two, flags dropped to half-mast, talk of him lying in state, even whispers of a statue in the Capitol and a Presidential Medal of Freedom. All that for a man who never even held public office. That's not just unusual, that's unprecedented. At 5 p.m., I was fired from my job for posting a video saying I don't care about Charlie Kirk's death. Now, here's the part that really stings. At the very same time, two young men, Mississippi College student Trey Reed and a homeless man named Corey Zakati, were found hanging from trees, lynched. Their deaths raised chilling questions. Yet, the media stayed almost silent. Police brushed it off fast, saying there was no foul play. But let's be real, this is Mississippi, a state with a bloody history of lynching. And today's political climate makes those claims way too convenient. What the 60s must have been like for anybody. Was it 8 or 9 assassinations? What does that do to a generation having lived through that and having known those people? This is me. I imagine I'd still be angry. Chappelle's point hits hard. America has always run on double standards. Certain lives spark nationwide outrage while others are swept under the rug. Look at what's happening right now. Kirk's death has dominated the news cycle. Celebrities and politicians won't shut up about it. Social media has been flooded. And get this, regular folks are even losing their jobs just for saying they don't care about him. Meanwhile, those two men who turned up dead in Mississippi, their stories barely even made a ripple in the headlines. And that's exactly what Chappelle is pressing. Why is the public being punished, even fired from jobs, just for refusing to mourn the death of a man who openly carried racist views? The hypocrisy is glaring. Think about it. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 as a huge mistake. Two black men are found hanging from trees, and instead of outrage, their deaths are brushed aside like background noise. That's not just neglect. That feels intentional. Police call it no foul play while the nation's cameras are locked on Charlie Kirk like he was some kind of fallen king. The contrast is chilling, and it tells you all you need to know about which lives are given value in America. They were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes. If you're sick of the gaslighting, being told that Kirk's death is the only tragedy worth caring about, then stick with me, because in this video, we're going straight into how Mississippi is quietly sliding back into old violent patterns and why the mainstream media doesn't want you to connect the dots. A lot of people are saying the same thing. Yes, Charlie's death is tragic because any human life lost is tragic, but let's not sugarcoat it. America is scrubbing his image clean in real time, turning a man who openly pushed white supremacist views into some kind of national hero. That's not mourning. That's rewriting history. Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks. We would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 50. Look at the moves being made already. Trump personally ordered U.S. flags to fly at half-staff for Kirk. And then just 24 hours after his death, Congresswoman Nancy Mace jumped on X to announce she's filing a resolution to let Charlie Kirk lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Her post said, Charlie Kirk devoted his life to defending freedoms, inspiring millions, leading souls to Christ, and standing firm for the First Amendment. Such a legacy makes him uniquely worthy of this distinction. That's the official spin. But pause for a second. Authorities say the body of 21-year-old DeMar Travian Trey Reed was found hanged from a tree by a faculty member near the pickleball courts. Word spread quickly throughout the Cleveland campus, leaving students and others concerned and worried. Well, because I am a black student, hearing that happened to another black student, it really made me feel make me feel unsafe. I do have to walk to class, and I like to go walk on the track, and it would be happy to know like what happened. Local and state investigators immediately started looking into the incident. DSU Police Chief Michael Peeler says investigators found no evidence. This is beyond ridiculous. Lying in honor at the Capitol is not some casual tribute. It's one of the highest ceremonies this country can give to a private citizen. Only a handful have received it, and those few are remembered for extraordinary service or sacrifices to the nation. One of those names, Rosa Parks, a woman who risked her life for civil rights and changed history forever. And now Republicans want to put Charlie Kirk in the same category. The audacity is insane. This is a man who spent his career tearing down marginalized communities, pushing white supremacist talking points, and calling the civil rights movement a mistake. And now they want to immortalize him under the same dome where Rosa Parks rests in honor. This isn't just spin. This is national gaslighting on full display. They're asking the public to swallow the idea that a man who built his career off hate speech deserves to be remembered alongside real heroes who literally risked their lives for justice. Members of Reed's family are insisting on a thorough investigation. Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Music, enough is enough. And just when you think it couldn't get more outrageous, the pageantry goes over the top. Charlie Kirk's casket wasn't just sent home quietly. It was flown from Utah to Arizona on Air Force Two, personally escorted by J.D. Vance. And if that wasn't bizarre enough, the military honor guard was ordered to carry his casket like he was a decorated war hero. That move set off a firestorm of outrage, especially from veterans who called it a disgrace. One furious user on X wrote, "Black soldiers must have looked at that task with nausea."